My name is Lauren Lane Powell. I come to you originally from South Bend, Indiana. I've been here since 1999. When I moved down here, I was teaching voice lessons and teaching the world how to sing, one voice at a time. I started my life on the road when I moved down here, and I was on tour for 12 and a half years, full time. 3 weeks on the road, 1 week off every single month for 12 years. I loved every minute of it. But before I go on, let me introduce you to myself a little bit more in song. Not so long ago, when I was very young, my mama used to kneel beside my cradle. Though I was just a babe, she whispered this to me. She knew I'd understand when I was able. She said, "Lauren, you're a gem. You can do anything. The whole wide world is your parade. All you gotta do is dream. Let the others do the scheming. Come what may, some may tell you not to sing. Some may tell you not to laugh out loud. Some may tell you not to pray to your God. But don't you listen to a word they say. Some may tell you not to dance. Some may tell you not to wave your arms. They'll try to tell you not to use all your charms. That's a game some people play. Ain't it the truth? Not so long ago, when I was 17, my mama let me cry upon her shoulder. Though I was still naive, she taught me to believe. She knew I'd understand when I got older. She said, "Lauren, you're a jewel. People can be so cruel. Don't let them rain on your parade. Hold on tightly to your dreams. Keep your light forever beaming through the gray." Some may tell you not to sing. Some may tell you not to laugh out loud. Some may tell you not to pray to your God. But don't you listen to a word they say. Some may tell you not to dance. Some may tell you not to wave your arms. They'll try to tell you not to use all your charms. That's a game some people play. Well, as luck would have it, not so long ago, seems like yesterday, someone tried to tell me, but I heard myself say, "Don't you tell me not to sing. Don't you tell me not to laugh out loud. Don't you tell me not to pray to my God. I won't listen to a word you say. Don't you tell me not to dance. I gotta dance. Don't you tell me not to wave my arms. Don't you tell me not to use all my charms. It's my game, I'll play my way. Don't you tell me not to use all my charms. It's my game, I'll play my way. It's my game, I'll play my way. It's my game, I'll play it my way." Thank you. Holy shift. Now, for those of you with hearing aids, besides this thing still being on, there is an F in that. I'm not swearing on stage. Hush. Thank you. Everyone say that with me. It feels so good. Holy shift. Ready? Holy shift. Good. It's a great expletive, isn't it? It describes very aptly everything that's happening in our country, in our planet, in our individual lives. The shifts that are taking place in my own personal life, the macrocosm, of course, microcosm, mirrors the macrocosm. All the chaos that we're feeling in our world is also happening in our bodies. Can you feel it? And in our lives. How can we then best live now in love and peace and truth? Not in spite of, but because of this holy shift, these many holy shifts. And how does that look? How does that work? How does that feel when we do it on purpose, with peace and love and intention? In 2012, I turned 50 years old, and I reached the pinnacle of my perfect health. My body was streamlined. I had a flat tummy. I had been working out. I had arrived. 6 months later, I was diagnosed with stage 3C ovarian cancer. Learning very quickly that the love I felt for my new rock-hard body was conditional. And learning through 5 surgeries, 18 weeks of chemotherapy, how to love what is. The little pieces of paper that you all have on your chairs has the title cover of my new book. It's not out yet, but it will be in a couple of months. And it's called appropriately Holy Shift, but there's a second part to that. Holy Shift, everything's a gift. Because the very minute I was diagnosed, I knew better than to say, why me? Because of course the answer always is, why not you, right? My question instead was, why now? I felt like I was just starting to get off on my road. My business was starting to take off. And what I learned with that question was that the timing was perfect. I actually was meditating and heard the words, congratulations, you have graduated. Excuse me? You've graduated. You get to use absolutely every single one of your spiritual tools to get through this, and you will. And I said, okay, how? What's the first step? And the theme began for the next 5 years and still is running. Guess what the 2 words I keep hearing are over and over and over again? You're not going to believe it. Any guesses? Holy shift, that's one of them. What would you suppose would be a directive that would signal me to do something with this? Any ideas?
Spread love.
Close. Even more simple, but thank you, Penny. Have fun. Have fun. How in the heck do you have fun with cancer? Well, I learned. And I was told I was going to learn. The first thing I did was change the spelling. Imagine. Just the spelling of the word, C-A-N-C-E-R, has so much negative connotation. We see that word, we feel it in our gut, we talk about the big C, we don't even want to say the word. The first thing I did was to change the spelling. Get this. Think about the word that rhymes with cancer. Answer, with a big capital A, and then a little bitty c. So I started pronouncing it C-answer. Well, my sister started pronouncing it answer. And with that little bit of a hiccup, even talking about answer, how desperate can we be, right? So I knew that this was my opportunity, not only to find the gifts in answer, because there are many, of course, but perhaps to change the way it looks and feels from the inside out. So after the first surgery was successful, obviously they took everything out of me, they also ripped a bowel. And I went into emergency surgery and wound up with a colostomy for 9 months. And the same question was asked, Sweet Spirit, what do I do with this? And again, I heard, have fun. It's like, yeah, right. How do you have fun with a colostomy? Well, I named her Lucy. I made her a friend. I had no choice. But because I had fun, because I personified her, because I treated her as something outside of myself that I could embrace, it made all the difference in the world. It was still horrible. It was still painful. It was still nasty. But intentionally loving the process shifted it and made it sweet. Now, my mother was so good at this. One time during chemo, I had eaten blueberries. Who knew? You don't know these things ahead of time. And I knew that when the colostomy bag blows up, you burp it, right? Not with a bunch of blueberries. I had on a beautiful peach dress. It exploded everywhere. I was 89 pounds. I was so bony I couldn't sit down on the toilet. I was so weak I couldn't stand up. And sweet Lucy was just, it was so nasty. Thank God my mom was with me. And I was crying my eyes out. I was in such pain and such, I was so distraught. It was just nasty. And my mom said, honey, this shouldn't be such a bad deal. I changed your diapers. I said, but Mommy, I'm 50 years old. No one should have to go through this. This is disgusting. This is gross. This is painful. All of a sudden, my brilliant mother starts singing to me. Today, while the blossoms still cling to the vine. One of our favorite family songs. Naturally, I start singing harmony. We sing both choruses, all the verses, and here Lucy's still doing her thing. But all at once, that whole situation shifted. And my inspiration of why I am here on this planet was reconfirmed. My job is to have everyone who feels like it be comfortable enough with their voice to sing to their loved ones in time of trouble, like my mommy did for me, because it made all the difference in the world and continues to make a difference. So in 2012, in October, I went into remission. I was in for 2 years, loving every minute of it, started writing the book, and in 2014 was re-diagnosed. Hot darn, get to do it a second time. And that absolutely was my attitude. The first time through, remember I had gone through 5 surgeries. I was very weak. I started out with 89 pounds and gained my weight back during chemo. Who does that? Very interesting. But I had an inkling that had I been healthier, had I not been going through all those surgeries, I would be able to do it even better. Well, I got an opportunity. So how can I do chemo again? Even better. Well, chemo dreamo became the phrase I would use for it. It felt so different. I used the 3-hour chemo treatment as a meditation. I would listen to my music. I would hear my sister's voice sing about surrender and release. And I would listen to another song about forgiveness and acceptance, and then into healing. And by the time the chemotherapy treatment was over, I was so deep into a wonderful healing meditation that I know that might have been the holy shift that allowed me to receive the treatment as medicine instead of being afraid of it, learning about the poison that's on the website and all the negatives. I want to encourage you to redefine everything that you're going through in your life. Call it good. Ask how first. Because as you shift it, as we shift, as we look at what's going on in our world and call it good and look for the gifts in everything, we will find them. Absolutely. And we will know that we are here in this right and perfect place and time for this next shift of ours. And dare I say that everything is absolutely perfect, just the way it is, for the next evolution of our love, of our peace, and of our kindness. It couldn't happen any other way, or it would have. So, right here, right now, can we love each other through this? Can we love ourselves through whatever this is? And can we love our bodies to health? I like that sound. In 2014, I was at the tail end of my second dance with cancer. I stopped 3 chemo-dremo treatments short when my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. My sister and I got to walk her home for 5.5 months. And knowing how we both were able to embrace the cancer dance, knowing how everything is a holy shift when we allow it to be, knowing that we loved Mom so deeply that we get to grieve so deeply, allowed my sister and I that holy shift from grief into gratitude, and back and forth, of course. And while we were crying on each other's shoulders when Mom was on her deathbed, both of us looked at each other and said, "My God, this is delicious. This pain, this angst is delicious. How can it be so yummy and so painful at the same time?" And what we both came to realize is that it's this love, this deep-seated love, that the loss creates the angst and the grief, without which the other one would not be. So how can I not bless the grief? How can I not wrap my arms around it and hug it close to me and be grateful for these feelings that are so human and that go so deep? Mom passed April 20th of 2015. A year later, my sister and I were down in Florida walking my father home on April 26th of 2016, this year. A year and 6 days apart. The funny thing is they hadn't been married for 41 years. The timing is just so interesting. Now, I have friends, I have loved ones who know my story and who know what I have been walking through for the last 4 years or so. And a few of them say, "Oh, you poor thing. How can you possibly keep going? Cancer, death, cancer, death. My husband had a heart attack and survived," all this stuff. And I am here to testify, life is good. Life is wonderful. Life is rich. And life is full of holy shifts, is it not? None of us are going to get out of here alive. And none of us are going to get out of here without losing our loved ones. So how can we do it beautifully? How can we do it with peace and love and intention? And how can we embrace our very mortality, knowing full well that there really, truly is no death? My mom and dad are always here. They've just changed forms. They're always with me. And if that's what death means, bring it on. Not anytime soon. I'm still healing. But I'm excited about being excited because that's my job. And as I stay excited, as I stay positive through any tool I can, my favorite is singing. It lifts my vibration. It makes me feel good. Dancing is another one. Swimming, anything that makes me feel good is worth doing, because there are so many things that we allow make us feel bad. We can choose and choose and choose again. And knowing that everything is in the right and perfect place, and trusting that, I have no doubt in my mind that we will all arrive together and wonder what the big deal was. I've never been nowhere. I've always been somewhere. Wherever I go, there I am. Wherever I'm going, I'm on my way. It's not destination, it's every day. I'm pushing and pulling like everyone else. It's time I slow down and take care of myself. I'm halfway there. It's my metamorphosis in the air. It isn't an accident, I'm telling you. It's time to relax and to take in the view. Not coincidentally, I wrote this song. If you sing it gently, you will lose your longing. Wherever I'm going, if ever I stay, wherever I'm going, I'm on my way. Wherever I'm going, if ever I stay, wherever I'm going, I'm on my way. Wherever I'm going, it's worth the trip. I'm here to enjoy every bit of it. Life isn't a product, it isn't an end. It's which way you travel to get there, my friend. Not coincidentally, I wrote this song. If you sing it gently, you will lose your longing. Wherever I'm going, if ever I stay, Wherever I'm going, I'm on my way. Wherever I'm going, if ever I stay. Wherever I'm going, I'm on my way. 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 Thank you. I wanted to leave just a little bit of time for any questions. Do we have any questions from the audience? I know this is a lot of information and a lot of, hopefully not too new ideas, but Barbara.
For about 20 years, you used your voice to help others with their voices. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I am a voice teacher. I have studied at IU. I got my degree in '92. I teach everybody who wants to how to sing. I am absolutely convinced that everyone can sing, and more convinced that we all need to sing. Because when we don't feel comfortable with our source of expression, parts of our body can and very often does break down. We can very easily develop stress and tension in the chest and shoulders. Our digestion can be affected. But simply reminding the body how to sing, how to express from the dantian, from the very core muscles, everything changes. And as an example, this is the way I used to speak. And if I sang from here, I would only have a very limited range. And you can almost feel the edge, can you not? With this voice, I was often accused of being angry. No, I'm not mad. Why? Our tone of voice colors everything we say, does it not? I love you feels so different than I love you ever could. So it's not only the way I sing from those muscles, but it's also the voice that has more authenticated and become more comfortable for my own speaking voice as well as for communication. It's the difference between velvet and burlap. And this velvet voice seems to reach more people more easily. I mean, it's a whole lot more interesting to listen to. It feels somehow more loving, and it's a whole lot more accessible than this one ever was. So not only do I work with people on their singing voices, but then their speaking voices coming from those same muscles, we wind up speaking and singing and then living from the core of our being, very physically as well as metaphysically. Thank you, Barbara. Anybody else? Yes.
When is your book going to be available?
Thank you for asking. They're thinking possibly even in time for Christmas, but that depends upon me, I think. Right now, I'm just editing the last 3 or 4 chapters, so it's really soon. If not before Christmas, then by the first of the year for sure. So thank you for asking.
Amazon?
It will be on Amazon. It will be a ebook as well as an order by demand. Yeah. Thank you.
What is the title of your book?
Holy Shift. Everything's a gift. Thank you. Yes.
When you first started to change your voice, did it sound contrived to you, or did it feel inauthentic at first, or just both? I guess that's kind of a...
No, that's a very, very good question. Her question was, when I first started working with this authentic voice, did it feel and sound contrived? And in answer to your question, in order to get there, it had to be contrived. So let me give you a little bit of a demo. When I recognized that when I sing, I use so much wind, and it all comes from here. And when I start speaking, it all came from here. There was no wind at all. I had to take that to the extreme for practice, and this is how it worked. As I ran out of breath on purpose and sounded and felt like Marilyn Monroe. Happy birthday, Mr. President. I recognized at first how little breath ordinarily went through my voice. But then, as I practiced over breathing to the extreme, and yes, getting very lightheaded, and then stopping with that overt extreme, there was somewhere in the middle that started more breathiness to be a natural part of my voice, and less of that edge. But in order to get it there, I had to take it as far away from that edge as possible. And over-breathing it from these muscles was what worked. So try it. It's quite exciting. Then, when I stopped over-breathing it, so much of a nice, natural breath of air became a part of it that I don't have to think about it anymore. So, yes.
You missed being on tour. What kind of things did you do while you were touring?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. I loved being on tour. I loved every minute of it. I would do a Harmonies of Healing workshop. I would do a concert. I would work with people individually. And I was spinning my wheels financially. I was spending all my money in my ministry and just barely making it, not quite. And I have a feeling that that's part of why I was stopped spiritually, because I wasn't about to slow down and do it differently. But when I was asked to remember the prayer I placed right before my diagnosis, it was so telling. I would love to spend more time at home. Show me how. I would love to spend more time with my family. Show me how. I want to feel an even deeper connection with Spirit. Show me how. I want to be able to use my ministry at a deeper level. Show me how. I have 5,000 fans on Facebook now, and it's going crazy, more than I could have on the road. Amazing stuff. And the biggest one for me in this lifetime anyway is I would love not to ever have to worry about money again. Being diagnosed with no health insurance, no way of paying, that was my answered prayer, because I really got to see how we are all taken care of by that deep surrender. And how it flows in when I let go of it. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And I'm still getting donations from all over the country, especially now because, you guys aren't going to believe this, I'm going through chemo again. Can you believe it? 3rd time's the charm. So my second book, haven't started yet, Holy Shift, Here We Grow Again. And then this 3rd time will be Holy Shift, 3rd time is the charm. This is it. Now, because I know what I know, because I get to do this dance one more time, even better than the first 2, I have asked my community to come to treatment with me. There are at least 5 to 8 people that come every single treatment, that meditate with me, that sing with me, that pray with me, that lift me up. Penny, Mom, and Christine, how has it been when you're in chemo? Just a word or two.
Peaceful.
Fun.
Emanating joy.
Yeah. Now, can you imagine what better way to do this? And I have an inkling that because I am going so public with this, and always have been, but more so this trip because Miles Eddy, I want to put his name out there. Miles Eddy is a professional videographer who is documenting this whole last dance. He's going to be documenting on video the chemo-dremo treatments. Everything that goes on will be Facebook posts, and I can see a really good documentary coming out of this. Because as long as chemotherapy is part of our curing cancer, I don't think it's always going to be that way, but as long as it is, we have an opportunity, I have an opportunity to disseminate the fear, to do it differently, and then perhaps to bring the idea of community healing to other people who are going through this, because it makes a huge difference. The very first treatment was last Monday. My labs were taken Friday, and I was given such a heavy-duty dose to start with. People were expecting my blood counts to be down and everything. The nurse said, and I quote, I was the best she had ever seen. Did she not say that? After the first double whammy that I got Monday. Thank you. So I know this healing from the inside out is an inside job, and it's all about loving who we are. And if we can't figure out what is standing in our way, forgive ourselves over and over and over again, and get back to love, whatever that means to you. And if you don't know, ask. And be quiet and listen for an answer. It always comes. Holy shift. Thank you all so, so much. I'm so blessed.
I wanted to just mention, I have a couple of your CDs, and they really are wonderful. So if you want to get a sense of Lauren on the road, I think that's probably a good way to do it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Lauren. I do have some CDs up here, and I have some little business cards with the book title on the chairs up here if you're interested. So, yes, Barbara.
Can you tell us where to get one of those inside-out dresses you're wearing and show us how it works?
Oh, of course. The goddess dresses. I have its own website. It's called innergoddessgowns.com. Harmonies of Healing also has them on there. Innergoddessgowns.com has all the different colors and such. Okay. So this is how it is on the hanger. Okay. And they all have a double thing here. So I can take it up and back and around. It has a button here and a button loop up on the shoulders. One up, one down. Both of them up.
Just happened.
Aren't they fun? Thank you. Thank you for asking. Yes.
What's the name of the first song you sang? I love that.
The first song I sang was Some May Tell You Not to
Some may
Sing.
tell you.
Yep, it's on my acting the play CD. So thank you again so much. I really appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you all for being with us. Have a great holiday season. Again, we are not going to meet in the month of December. And in January, please join us on the third Thursday over at Meadowwood for our exciting Holy Shift. Thank you.